Shalom, shalom. Shalom, family. Shalom, Yashrala. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai Barakatam. I want to say shalom to my Adawan, shalom to my Akiums. Just another Sunday. Just coming, trying to bring out some, just some things that, that we all deal with. I know I'm dealing with it right now. That's basically obedience and learning how to follow instructions. All right. Like I said, this has been a long week. It's been a really long week. So I'm tired. There's been ripping and running. Georgia is hot Atlanta. So excuse my, if you see me sweating right here. I try to keep myself a little cool right now. But just want to come out with something, dealing with obedience. The importance of, following instructions. Perfect example myself, when you have people over you, when you in any kind of situation, whether it's a job, whether dealing with your family, the camp, whatever camp that you with, is a structure. Even God set up that structure as well. Matter of fact, I'm just go ahead and bring it out. Everything got a structure. We had to learn how to humble ourselves and deal with that. If you was told to do something a certain way, do that. For instance, like you have your Adawans, you have your elders, you have your Adawans, you have your soldiers, you have your prospects. I'm at soldier position at this minute. But I still have my head that I have to obey, my head that I have to listen to. Of course, Christ is your head and God is the head of Christ. But let's go ahead and bring it up. This is 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. That's just showing you the order. So he's setting the order immediately, letting you know this is how it should be. So we can't get into our own mind frame, our own feelings. Like my other one always say, F your feelings. Your feelings have nothing to do when it comes to this truth. Dealing with God, put your feelings aside. When it comes to doing this work, anything that you do when it comes to, structure, it have to be in order. You have to learn how to follow instructions. You have to learn how to be obedient. You can't be like, well, you can't tell me nothing. No. Bump that. You understand? That's one thing we have to understand, Israel. We have to learn how to deal with instruction. A lot of our people don't like instructions. That's why a lot of our people don't really like to deal with the Bible. They find that the Bible is too controlling. We'll follow man all day. We'll let in this world we'll let people tell us what to do and we'll humble down, right? But for some reason we won't humble down to God and His structure that He give, and the structure that He gave to His prophets and His teachers. To pass down to the people. You see what I'm saying? As we're talking about that, let's bring that out. Acts, 5:29. Learn how to be humble. So like here, Acts 5:29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. This is basically what was going on, because we are a lawless nation. We are lawless people. We, especially when it comes to our people, we don't want to take instructions. We don't want to hear anything from nobody. We block our ears. Put away our shoulder. But at some point, you're going to humble down. Whether you do it by yourself or whether God humble you. and we are not prepared to let God humble us. We have to get right. We got to get our spirit right. We got to get in order. We got to get the leaven out of our mind and our body. Con? Let's get into the breakdown in the lesson. I want to just touch on a couple things. I ain't gonna stay too long. For instance, the importance of following instructions. And it could be, it really could be detrimental to the way how we go about our life. Whether you're dealing with, let's say, not obeying let's say from a child, if you don't listen to your parents and how they trying to bring you up, you trying to go your own way could get you in a lot of trouble. Like my dad used to always say, friends will lead you, but it will never bring you back. You see what I'm saying? Not leaning to your own understanding in a sense. Learning from what, the elders passed down to us and applying it to our life. That's what's going to help. But when we try to do, especially when we don't know nothing, but we don't want to admit that, we just kind of, I know me. I want to deal with how I want to deal. That free will spirit. There's no free will according to God. You know what I mean? According to the scriptures. So, but, like I said, it could be detrimental to us in life. Not listening to your parents, like I said, following the wrong company, going off track, going off, following the ways of this world, and not following the instructions of the Bible. Different ways it could apply. All right. Even if you're talking about you raising a child, you learn from your parents about certain things. When you have a child, your first child, you're gonna ask questions. Well, if I'm not sure about how to do this, I have to listen to somebody. Somebody you gonna have to listen to. All right. Let's see. Even in livelihood, even if let's say you have crops, all right. Let's say you have crops and you want to start planting your stuff. You have to follow some kind of guideline to get it done right. Because if you're not sure how to really do the proper procedures, you can mess up. Even if you're trying to build you a little something to have your plants and stuff in and everything, if you don't really know exactly and get the right measurements and everything what they told you how to do it, you could go off. You could try to do it your own way, but if you let's say you build it up and it's not strong, would that stand? But if you actually to follow some of the instructions, you ask a question and they tell you how to do it, and you follow that way, you might could say, appreciate that. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, Jake we like to feel like we, Israel. I would say Jake in the world and Israel in the truth. We still like to do our own thing. We find time for other stuff, but we don't find time to do the right things. It's just about learning how to check yourself sometimes. Humbling down and taking correction when need be. That's important. Learn how to take correction. But you could touch on a couple of stories. You could couple on a couple of topics. We're just gonna breeze through certain things. For instance, like let's go to, I want to say, we could even use the example of Jericho, or let's go to Joshua. I'm gonna do Jericho, and then probably could touch on an example of, even Moses, or even King Solomon, The reason how certain things kind of fell off by not following the instructions. You know what I mean? The Bible gives us all these examples so we could actually live and follow by it. Alright? So let's go Joshua 6:2. Joshua 6:2. Let's see. And the Lord said unto Joshua, See, I have given into thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. Let's jump down to 5, Salakia. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout, and with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him. So this is basically God letting you know, this is how it's going to happen. I'm telling you what you need to do, and this is how it's going to happen. When you do it the way how I tell you to do it. All right? So he's laying down the order. We could even, I mean, you had to read all this. We could just jump to, let's say 14. And the second day they come past the city once and return into the camp. So they did 6 days. All right. Let's say 16. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, Shout, for the Lord had given you the city. You know what I mean? So this is him following God's instructions. All right. 17. And the city shall be. Well, we could even go down to, let's say 22. But Joshua said unto the 2 men. No, that was dealing with Rahab, the harlot. You know what I mean? That was the promise that he made to her, basically, that, you know, whatever she have in her house, just because she hid the messengers when they came out to spy the city, she hid them from the people. So he said, well, for that I'm gonna spare you, and whatever is in your house, basically. So that was basically what I was dealing with. But let's go down to 27. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was noised throughout all the country, by him actually following the instructions. You know what I mean? Like I said, obedience is important. All right, because God is I would say he honors obedience. When you be obedient to him, he honors that, and he will repay you greatly for that. All right. Let's use another example. We ain't gonna stay too long or nothing. Even dealing with, let's go to Exodus. You know what? I want to use something different. I want to let's go to 1 King 11 and 1. Let's do something a little different. 1 King 11 and 1. I want to start at 1. Is that what it is? Yeah, let's start at 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, the Edomites, and the Zidonians, and the Hittites, of the nation concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon, cleave unto these in love. So, because he had a lot of wives and concubines, but he had a lot of women of different nations as well, which is against the law, as we know. Even if let's say touch on that, let's go to Deuteronomy 7:3. All right, and it reads, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. All right, so that was the warning that he gave. All right, but Solomon still fell into that. That was the reason of the split of the kingdoms, for that disobedience that he had, because his father didn't really go along with it. His father was straight up with God, and he was a man of God, but Solomon fell short in his old age. All right, so for that, the kingdom was split up, and thus have it today. How we still separated till today, but he gonna bring us back. He's gonna bring us back. Let's go back to 11, and where was I? Cleave to these in love, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart, just like I said. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord. His God, perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. I'm gonna just jump down. I'm not gonna read all this. Let's go to 11. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for so much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I have commanded thee, I will surely rent the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. So that was the fulfillment of it. That was basically the punishment for not listening. All right. And like I said, whether you get punished now or later, you're gonna get judged. You're gonna get judged because He is our Father. So if you don't obey your Father and He punish you, you can't get mad for that. You see what I'm saying? Because He told you. It ain't like He was doing guile or trying to trick you. No, He let you know what it is. If you listen, you get blessing, or you don't, you get curses. All right. Let's use another example. If I have any time, I'm going a little too long already. Let's use let's go ahead and use another rebellion. Numbers 21, 1-9. Let's see what that's talking about. Numbers 21, 1-9. You know what? For time's sake, I'm gonna just use another example. For instance, with Moses bringing out the people out of Egypt, he pretty much, by him obeying what God told him to do, a lot of things was able to work. In the ending, for him kind of going off a little bit, he wasn't, he wasn't allowed to enter into the promised land. He died before then. But God did told him to save Joshua and Caleb, because those were the only two that had a positive, you know, attitude or mind frame towards that whole moving forward what the Lord said. Everybody else had like bad reports and that's being negative in a sense. All right. You given an order, you follow that order. Plain and simple. It shouldn't be too hard about it for nothing. Humble yourself, Israel. Alright? Learn how to humble yourself and follow instructions. Khan? Shalom. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatam. Kom Yashrala.